Right now, I'm currently at a late-night Bonna bus stop. What normally is a 5-minute drive for students into the town of Allegheny can potentially be over a mile walk. Robert Barbieri, SBU TV. Thanks, guys. Welcome to SBU TV Sports. I'm Robert Barbieri. We're glad you're tuning in. We have a packed show for you guys, starting off with some basketball highlights. Welcome to your SBU TV Sports Recap. I'm Robert Barbieri. Let's get to it, starting with men's and women's soccer highlights. Thanks, guys, and welcome to SBU TV Sports. I'm Robert Barbieri. On Wednesday, we went to Media Day. We have exclusive interviews from both men's and women's basketball teams. We also have highlights from this past week's sporting events. Thank you for joining the post-game show. I'm Robert Barbieri. Alongside me is Nick Gallo, and we are in a it was sold out Riley Center tonight. The UB Bulls, nationally ranked UB Bulls. And Nick, tell us about the game.
Well, I got to tell you.
Welcome to the Friday newscast. We start at the top of the hour. I'm Robert Barbieri. Alongside me here is Roisin Coleman. And Roisin, tell us some headlines for today.
So one of the first headlines we have is by Sean Mickey. He did an update to his story last week, I believe, on the sex abuse case. So we're going to have that for you. And I also did a story on Bonna giving Tuesday at Bonna's. So, yeah, it'll be exciting.
We can't wait. And also, we have the Courtney Stalker player profile for SBU TV Sports. We're excited. We'll see you at the top of the hour. That's all we have from sports. But before we kick it off, we want to wish you guys a happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Also, I'd like to thank all the people that were behind SBU TV Sports. Nick Gallo, Mike Spong, just to name a few. We thank you guys for all the help that you've been doing this past semester. Back to you, Jocelyn and Aaron. He may wear number 0 on the court, but in the eyes of Bonaventure, he's their go-to guy. Our player profile of the week is Kyle Lofton. The time has come to give back. St. Bonaventure students give back to the community by providing hot meals to locals. Jocelyn Person went to the warming house to see what's cooking. The warming house won't be open on Thanksgiving Day, but St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Olean will be serving Thanksgiving dinner for the community. Tuesday marked the 17th anniversary of September 11th. Reporter Sean Mickey talked to those impacted by the horrific day. Tuesday marked the 16th year of the annual remembrance on the St. Bonaventure campus. Medical marijuana is legal in New York State, but recreational is not. New York State residents are able to obtain marijuana with a medical card. Maya Capolino and Nick Ventura went to a panel discussion on Tuesday about the topic. Public officials are more concerned about children eating edibles with the legalization of marijuana. Edibles contain a higher amount of THC. When people hear Ralph C. Wilson Jr., they automatically think of the man who used to run the Buffalo Bills at a time. Nicholas Gallo reports on how a foundation that he started is impacting lives in the local Western New York communication today. The ribbon cutting will be held this Saturday. Thanks for joining this morning and have a great and safe weekend. For SBU TV, I'm Robert Barbieri.
And I'm Jocelyn Person. We will see you next Friday right here at 10 a.m.
I'm Roisin Coleman.
And I'm Robert Barbieri. If you haven't looked outside yet, St. Bonaventure has been covered in a blanket of snow. About 8 inches of snow fell on campus last night. More snow is expected later this weekend and early next week. Roads are still being cleared. If you're going home this weekend, the Cattaraugus County Emergency Dispatcher noted that Interstate 86 and Route 219 are primary trouble spots. If you need to drive, drive carefully. Make sure to dress warm this weekend. Over 630 people are reported missing as the California wildfires continue to burn through the state. Fires in California continue to rage and the death toll has risen to 66. Over 100,000 acres have already been burned across the north and south part of the state. The fire is not the only problem in California. California issued a warning to cities hundreds of miles away from the fire about hazardous air pollution. There's also a neurovirus outbreak at the Camp Fire shelter. Those who are already sick have been quarantined. President Donald Trump is expected to visit the wildfire victims on Saturday. Parking has been an issue for a number of St. Bonaventure students this year. Some believe the parking situation is getting out of hand. Tom Doyle has the story. Tune in with us in 2 weeks for our next live newscast. Until then, stay warm, St. Bonaventure. Right now, 1,300 St. Bonaventure students have signed up to get on-campus alerts. That's more than 70% of student coverage. If you want to sign up, you can at www.e2campus.net/my/STBU. I'm here in front of the St. Bonaventure Safety and Security Building because your safety matters to us. For SBU TV, I'm Robert Barbieri.
You hear about these terrorist attacks across the world, whether it's in Paris or Las Vegas or New York, but you never think it hits close to home. I am from Toronto, and when I heard the news on Monday, I was devastated. My thoughts and prayers are with those families of the victims, and know that together we are strong. For SBU TV, I'm Robert Barbieri. You hear about the Bonner bubble as soon as you enter campus, but you don't really realize until situations like this happens what it really means. In a matter of 8 hours, 500 alumni raised more than $50,000 to send students to Dayton, Ohio and Dallas, Texas, giving them the opportunity of a lifetime and taste of what Bonaventure NCAA tournament basketball really means. Whether you're a fan or not, you can't deny the passion Bonaventure fans have for basketball. For SBU TV, I'm Rob Barbieri.
It tells one of the great lost stories from our history. Set during the terrible times of the Crusade, it speaks with urgency to our present. Our very own Islamic Studies professor, Father Michael Calabria, provided input on the film.
It presents a story, a true story, of two individuals from very different cultures, from different religions, who are able to transcend those differences in a time of war and see one another simply as people of faith. And that leads us to a new paradigm for peace. In other words, rather than demonizing the other, rather than engaging in a confrontation with the other, St. Francis and the Sultan were able to listen to one another and to see one another for who they truly were, in spite of the war and the violence going on around them. This story tells us if you simply allow an individual to tell you who they are and what they stand for, it could diffuse a whole situation very quickly.
Right now, what you're about to see is a short 30-second clip from the film, The Sultan and the Saint.
One of them is a young man named Francis from a small Italian town called Assisi.
As a young man, Francis is what we might call a bon vivant, a man around town. His social activities are hanging out with his friends, probably going around Assisi, making a little...
With SBU TV, I'm Robert Barbieri.
Thanks, guys. Welcome to SBU TV Sports. I'm Robert Barbieri. We're glad you're tuning in. We have a packed show for you guys, starting off with some basketball highlights. St. Bonaventure's head coach Mark Schmidt called Wednesday's win over Siena his team's most complete game of the season, and it showed as the Bonnies would go en route to knock off the Saints in an 82-40 victory. This gave the Bonnies their third straight win and secured the Franciscan Cup for the third straight year.
Currently outside of the Riley Center, where the Bonnies played Siena on Wednesday night for the Salute to Service game.
The Salute to Service game is a time where St. Bonaventure athletics showcase or highlight the individuals in all different forms of service in the community. They kick the game off with two individuals coming from the gym's ceiling, one carrying the game ball. Throughout the game, they showcase the sheriff, deputies, first responders, and many other individuals. They lastly acknowledge the Military Alliance Students Program and the students that are planning on graduating in December and May.
Thanks for watching. I'm Love Nicholson, SBU TV Sports.
He may wear number 0 on the court, but in the eyes of Bonaventure, he's their go-to guy. Our player profile of the week is Kyle Lofton.
Welcome to this week's player profile. As sitting with me right now is freshman guard Kyle Lofton. Kyle, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Just had a little mental walkthrough for Buffalo, and we're just trying to get prepared for the Saturday.
3 straight wins, now off a big win against Siena, retaining the Franciscan Cup. How are you personally or the team is currently feeling?
I feel like once we got back from the Cayman Islands, we all regrouped, and big part, Courtney came back, gave us all confidence, and we're just we're flowing right now, and hopefully we get to continue as we keep working hard and just staying focused. We still got a lot of room for improvement.
What are you expecting for Saturday's game against Buffalo?
Definitely a win, and just going out there playing hard as you can.
How do you feel the Bonaventure faithful has been, coming to the games for you guys and supporting you?
The fans are terrific, and I heard the game's already sold out, so it'll be a packed crowd.
We want to thank Kyle Lawton for joining us here at the Player Profile. Tune into us next semester as we will continue our Player Profile series. Nicholas Gallo, SBUTV Sports.
Make sure to follow us on all of our social media pages. To catch the full interview with Kyle Lofton, you can go on our Facebook. The return of senior McKenna Maycock gave the Bonnies team a spark, but it would be a late 16-2 run from the host Akron that would be the deciding factor in a 67-58 Zips victory Wednesday morning. The Bonnies quickly turned around for a home battle with Franciscan sister school Siena. The St. Bonaventure men's and women's swim and dive team traveled to Akron, Ohio for the Zippy Invitational last week. The team would end up placing third in the competition. The Bonnies' next meet is January 11th and 12th at the Buffalo Diving Invite. That's all we have from sports. But before we kick it off, we want to wish you guys a happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Also, I'd like to thank all the people that were behind SBUTV Sports. Nick Gallo, Mike Spong, just to name a few. We thank you guys for all the help that you've been doing this past semester. Back to you, Jocelyn and Aaron. Thanks, guys, and welcome to SBUTV Sports. I'm Robert Barbieri. The St. Bonaventure men's soccer team is eliminated from playoff contention after falling to VCU Wednesday night. It was an effort that just came up one game short for the Bonnies. The Bonnies were in must-win mode when they took the field against Duquesne last weekend. A goal with 38 seconds left kept the playoff dream alive until a meeting with VCU Wednesday. Sophomore Nicola Bonzo scored his second goal of the season, but it was not enough as the St. Bonaventure University men's soccer team fell to VCU on the road to close out the 2018 season. Bonnies basketball is back. The men's and women's team will face off against the Alfred Saxons tonight in what is the final tune-up game before the regular season. The women play at 5 and the men play at 7 in the Riley Center. A hustler on the court and a down-to-earth guy off it. Senior Ladarian Griffin sat down with SBUTV Sports in our first player profile. Last Saturday, the cross-country team placed last out of the 14 teams in the Atlantic 10 Championship. Dayton took first place, while LaSalle and St. Louis were the runner-ups. Junior William Delaney hit his career best time on the 5-mile course at 27 minutes and 25 seconds. This is the closest time to former Bonnies runner Joe Fernicich, who ran 26 minutes and 47 seconds in 2015. That's all from sports. Tossing it over to you, Sean and Aaron.